next question is about reentry services, and it says, what can the city do to ban the conviction history box on all city employment applications?
Yeah, and you know, that's something that I absolutely support. And we sat down and started going through every job category in the city of Oakland. Because my view is that there are a tremendous amount of jobs at the city level that doesn't matter. You got to give people a second chance. So we've gone through, what is it, I think about 90 different job categories. Yeah, and we've gone through about 90 categories, primarily in the Public Works Department. We're looking at other departments where the X is not necessary. That's not a barrier to people's employment. So that process is an ongoing process. And at the end of the day, my promise is that any and every job, you know, because some people say, well, we don't want to work around the kids, work around the money. Okay. But there are a whole lot of other jobs, planting trees, doing a whole lot of other things. There are good jobs there, so we'll make sure that happens. Last point I want to make. My view is that the city needs to take leadership in that regard. We need to take the moral high ground. Because how can we go to the private sector and say, you hire these folks when we're not prepared to hire them? So we have to take the high ground and show example. Now, when I came public and made that statement that we need to deal with the X and start hiring people who re-enter our community into the city, you might remember, front page of the Oakland Tribune, mayor wants to hire ex-cons. That was not calculated to engage us in an intelligent conversation. It was calculated to create fear and distortion. But my point is that these young people, these people coming back, that these people coming back need to have an opportunity.
The next question, where are the jobs for people age 24 and up? So what type of jobs does the city provide for people age 24 and up? And where are the funds to get families out of areas of violence? And who are the city staff that would be able to help them do that?
Okay, and on the last part. On the first part, I make two responses. We're getting ready to terminate 157 people off jobs in Oakland. So that's a big problem. So unfortunately, we're not hiring, we're terminating people based on the budget. That's just fact, that's just real, okay? Number two, I want to applaud Barbara Lee, who is our representative here, and Senator Barbara Boxer, because we took this idea that we started in Oakland. The Green Jobs program started in Oakland, no other city in America. All the mayors are very excited about it. I went to Washington, Barbara Lee, Senator Boxer, Representative Lee, and I said, we need to grow this program bigger in Oakland, and we need to make this a national program. Fight poverty and fight pollution. This is a way to employ the 24-year-olds, et cetera, in programs. Barbara Lee was very excited about the idea, took ownership of the idea, and introduced a bill called the Mega Bill, the Metropolitan Economics Green Act. Barbara Boxer is going to introduce a companion bill in the Senate. Now, this is what I'm going to ask Representative Lee and Senator Boxer to do. You've been hearing on television that after the election that the Congress is going to come back together to put together an economic stimulus package for about $150 billion. What I'm going to ask them to do is put the Green Corps program in the $150 billion stimulus package so that that will give us an opportunity to grow. It just makes sense. The other piece, to further answer the question about the 24, in that $150 billion stimulus package, about maybe $50 more going into infrastructure development. Okay, that's, you know, building roads, bridges, et cetera, infrastructure in Oakland. If you do that, that's going to generate a tremendous amount of employment. It'll be the biggest public works project in modern history in this country. So we got to work very hard to get that part of it, you know, going forward. The other thing is, as I said, working with Isaac Taggart on our reentry effort. His job is to try to locate employment where it does exist in Oakland and other employment both in the public and the private sector. So I want to get people to go to chat with him about that. We've had a number of work fairs where we brought labor unions and businesses, and a lot of people have been employed in those work fairs, and they've been very, very successful, okay?
And I think the second part of that question, and this is also posed to Vice Mayor Reid, what resources are there to help families get out of areas plagued by violence?
The city doesn't provide any funds. That program is ran through Alameda County. But on occasion, there are some of us on the council that will go out and raise money to help a family to relocate into a better area. And certainly what we are attempting to do is to work with the Oakland Housing Authority to get them to be a little bit more compassionate, particularly as it relates to giving out Section 8 housing certificates, to allow a family to get a Section 8 housing certificate without having to be on that long list for years and years and years and never receive one. And so we've been in discussions with them about how do we get some of these certificates and how do we provide assistance to help individuals who may have lost a loved one or in areas where there's this incredible increase in violence, and help them to relocate into a better and a safer neighborhood.
Just one thing sort of tangential to that you need to know. You know, Congress passed a multi-billion-dollar bill to deal with helping local communities buy foreclosed property so that they don't end up being drug houses or et cetera in the community. Well, on the first run, Oakland is going to get $8.2 million that will allow the city of Oakland to buy homes that have been foreclosed or to rehab them so that they can put them on the market, you know, for affordable housing for people. So you need to know that $8 million will be coming to Oakland. It's not what I think Oakland needs, because we've been hit harder than most cities in America. So all of the California delegation signed a letter saying that we need to rethink the formula, because I think Oakland needs to get more like about $20 million rather than $8 million. But that money will be coming to help us as well.
I wanted to just add, I'm Sarah Bedford with the Department of Human Services. Under Measure Y, we fund a crisis response team it's a pilot project, but it's been responding to the friends and loved ones of homicide victims. They have been helping with some relocation issues. It's work done by Catholic Charities, and the contact information is in the back where the Measure Y corner table is. So I encourage you to contact them and work with them. Thanks.
This question is about economic development. It says walkable communities with retail corridors have less violent crime. To create that type of community takes citywide coordination with planning, economic development, and redevelopment. What are you doing to make city planning and development coordinate to create walkable communities in East Oakland?
There is an awful lot of work that needs to be done, particularly along the MacArthur corridor and certainly International Boulevard corridor. Those are the two major corridors that run both through my district, Councilmember Brooks' district, that certainly the community has been working for a long time to try to revitalize. But there are some things that we've got to do. I mean, if we're going to build the walkable communities and bring the kind of retail that the residents out here in East Oakland deserve, we've got to do something about the violence that is taking place. Because you're not going to get the major name brand retailers to move out here if they feel that it's an environment in which they cannot, in fact, run their business in a safe place. Because if you've got businesses that are open and operating and that community is safe, certainly that's a community that is walkable. I mean, you can just go over into Piedmont, on Piedmont Avenue and College Avenue. But it's going to take all of us working together to make this community as safe. If we see violent crime, I know folks don't like the snitch. But in order for the police department to do the things they need to do to make this community a safer place, I mean, we've got to step up to the plate. But I promise you that on my watch within the next 4 years, you will see the revitalization of Foothill Square, bringing badly needed retail. And I believe if we can get Foothill Square going, it'll help drive retail and new housing all along the MacArthur corridor. And Bishop Bob Jackson, and those of you who don't know Charles Hill, there's another group called Christian Homes on International Boulevard between 94th and 96th are going to revitalize 4 whole city blocks. It's 290 units of new homes that's going to get built there. and about 30,000 square foot of new retail. And so you'll be able to shop out here in East Oakland in retail that I believe that we deserve. And there will be job opportunities created. And then there will be new housing. And I think if we can get those 4 blocks renovated to go along with what has happened up at Durant Square with the new housing and the grocery store and the bank, I think you'll begin to see further change along the MacArthur corridor.
I just want to, in the few moments I have, to first of all thank everyone for being here. It's a major statement about, you know, your citizenship and sense of community. I hope that we've tried to communicate with you. This is valuable to me because in listening and sharing with each other, we have a good conversation. And thank you very much.